Welcome back, guys. I'm TC's Views, and I am the 40-year-old naturalista giving new naturalistas who are in their 40s tips and how to deal with their hair. So in my introduction video, I said I didn't know what I was going to do with this freshly washed natural hair, but I figured it out. I'm going to do a double strand twist all over, but for those of you who are just tuning in, for my 40-year-old naturalistas who are new and just tuning in, the way I prepped it for today was I did a wash. It was time for me to strip all that buildup that I had from the gels and oils and stuff, and I used the Cantu Shea Butter for natural hair sulfate-free cleansing cream shampoo. I just did a small, like quarter size, saturated my hair, washed it out, and you know, I didn't even scrub it because I didn't want the knots to build up. Then I followed up with a conditioner, the follow-up conditioner, and then I put this Cantu Argan Oil leave-in conditioner repair cream. This is really good stuff. It detangles, and I don't have to worry about all these big knots, and you know, and I rarely have to run a comb through it to get the knots out. So the thing about my hair, I'm 40, it's thinning, like I said in the very first video. It's thinning, and it tends to dry very quickly. So I have this water bottle, and what's in the water bottle is actually key. I put in a couple of drops, like maybe 3 or 4 drops of 100% natural peppermint oil. See right there? 100% peppermint oil. And I actually got that tip from my daughter, who's also a naturalist, and she was like, you know, the peppermint oil, it helps stimulate growth within your scalp. So killing 2 birds with 1 stone, I make sure that whenever it starts to dry up, and it already started to dry up on the side, so I spray it all over, and then I make sure that it stays saturated. And then before I get things going, I made this oil mixture. This right here is actually some cocoa butter oil. That's the majority. So I think of it like a salad dressing. So this is my oil salad dressing for my hair. So this is coconut oil along with a couple of sprigs of almond oil, along with a couple of sprigs of jojoba oil, and followed up with a couple of shots of tea tree oil. And so I put it in this bottle right here. So about right up to here was the coconut oil, and then I put a little bit of everything else. So clearly I need to make a new batch. I just need to buy some more coconut oil. And what I do with this, I put it in the center of my hair and all around the scalp, and I get it on the scalp, right? I just keep doing it, and it doesn't drip out a whole lot. So you see it dripping, right? But it doesn't drip out a whole lot. And then what I do is I just get right in there and I massage my scalp, and it's really good to do. The one thing I want to make sure that you guys are aware of is that with the peppermint oil within the water, you only need a couple of drops, and do not put the peppermint oil directly on your scalp. Why? Because it is heavily concentrated and it's going to get a little uncomfortable. You can try it if you want to, but if you have any other tips on how to use the peppermint oil, go ahead and shoot me an email at tcsviews@gmail.com, or hit me up on Instagram, also tcsviews. So before I get things going, I use some shea butter. Clearly I'm running out, but for me, a little goes a long way. Given that my hair is so thin, I don't want to weigh it down with a lot of shea butter. So that's actually a mixture of the shea butter and coconut oil, right? Once I get more, I'll show you in another video how I prepare that. I noticed that a lot of women in their 40s and older who decides to go natural, they don't know what products to use, how to moisturize their hair. But anyway, so with the coconut oil and the shea butter mixture, see, it's all you know, it's the thin layer that I have, and that's what works for me. So you put whatever you want, that will work for you. And then I just massage it through, right? I do this, get that all going, and then I separate my hair. And I don't do the parts, one, because when I let it out, I want to make sure that I don't have a lot of parts in there. So I did the top. Actually, what I want to do is separating it, and given that this is my thin part right here, I separate that in a different way, right? So I clip it, and I clip this, right? And I just start on the sides to start doing my twists. So what I use for my twist is the Eco Styler, right? I prefer this one. It doesn't flake, it doesn't dry your hair out. At least it doesn't do it on mine. Once again, if you guys have any tips or tricks that you prefer to use, just shoot me an email and I will, you know, do a YouTube video. So what I do is I get the gel going, and like I said, I don't part anything. I get the gel going. I don't part with a comb. I use my fingers because I don't want those little parts in there. So what I do is I make sure that the gel goes on the part of the hair where I'm about to twist, and I do the double strand twist. So that's it. And it's up to you on what size you want. For me, this is what works, and I work pretty fast, and I'm not going to let this video run and so you can see my whole hair. I just wanted to do a couple of twists so you see how it's done, and it's just 2 strands, hence double strand twist. And I twist it, and then I still have the gel, the Eco Styler gel on my fingers. I may need a little more, and I add some more to it, and I do that all the way around the sides, right? So I'll be back in just a moment to show you more. Okay, so like I said, I didn't want to bore you with my twist that I did, my double strand twist that I did on around the side. So as you can see, I just took the hair, separated them in 2 sections, and you notice that there is no perfect parts. And so I just wanted to get back on this side just to show you what I'm doing. So right now it's a little dry, so spray it with my water oil mixture that has the peppermint oil, just a few drops, and just spray it so it's, you know, nice and saturated, because I don't like to put the Eco Styler gel on dry hair, and I just make sure that I get that through. And like I said, Eco Styler gel, and I use just a little bit, like about that much, put it on my fingertips since that part is short. Just do that, get it through, and you know, you're gonna see on my hair, you'll see that there's some white residue. That's just the shea butter and the coconut oil that I use. Probably also the leave-in conditioner that's still in there. But don't worry, 40-year-olds who are newly natural, that whiteness will go away once it's fully dry. So what do I like to do with my hair is, I don't wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to twist my hair and then let it out. I usually come home from work, and then you know, after I take my shower, I figure out what I'm going to do with my hair for the next day, and then, you know, I'll do a co-wash, and that's when I style it, pre-style it at night, and so it can set overnight. I have a friend, she's in her mid-40s, and just want to show you what I'm doing here. I have a friend who's in her mid-40s, and she did a twist out and she let it out like in a couple of hours. I was like, no, sweetie, you gotta let it dry. So for you new naturalistas out there, whether you're in your 40s or in your 20s, 30s, whatever, if you're brand new, just know that you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do a twist out and then let it set for a couple of hours, unless your hair can actually do that. But if you have hair like mine, which is 4C, or the really, really kinky, curly, textured hair, you're gonna need to let it sit overnight. So like I said, the white residue, it's gonna be there, but you don't have to worry about it. Once it's dry, you're not gonna see it in the morning. And if you use the Eco Styler, remember, less is always more. It'll definitely hold. It will not flake, at least it doesn't flake in my hair, and it doesn't dry out my hair. And you know, just wanted to walk you through the process of the double strand twist, just taking 2 pieces. And no, I'm not using a comb. If you want to use a comb, you can. I use my fingers are my comb. Every now and again I'll use a comb, but a wide tooth comb actually, but for this I'm not using one. So this wraps up the shorter parts of my hair. This is my last double strand twist I'm doing on the sides. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the middle part of my hair that tends to be thinner. So I'm working this out. I'm not exactly sure what to do to get it to be voluminous. When I finally rattle this out, you'll see what I'm saying, that the curl sometimes doesn't stay. The double strand twist just looks like it's just straight. So just gonna apply my Eco Styler once again right here, yeah. And I just get it all up in there, right? And I hope you can see that, right? Just run it through, and then I just part it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a double strand twist, but I'm gonna do it as if it's a cane row, right? Separate that, and let's see if you guys can see it. So I'm taking this, right? Two, it's just two. It's right over, right? And if this gets caught up in there, don't worry about it. You could just pull it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. See, and that's what I'm doing right there, right? And so let me just do one more for you before I move on to break, because I don't, you know, personally, whenever I watch the naturalistas, the millennial naturalistas, I don't want to see you doing your whole hair. So I'm only showing you the technique so you get a sense of what I'm doing, and I really hope you can see this. If not, just shoot me an email or hit me up on Instagram, tcsviews@gmail.com, and on my Instagram it's also tcsviews. You could follow me on Twitter. I'm also at tcsviews on Twitter. It's a brand thing. Yeah, so as you can see that. Alright guys, so I'm going to finish this part up, this middle part up, and I will get back to you in just a few seconds for you to see how I do the top of this. With the top, all I'm going to do is take bigger chunks. I don't use a comb, so I use my fingers as a comb. Why don't I use a comb, guys? The reason why I don't use a comb, because other video bloggers of natural hair, Naturalista, says not to. And I understand why, because our hair, especially if you have that really curly hair, our hair, what happens is that it snaps, and you don't want you know, a lot of breakage. So I just put some more Eco Styler gel. It's just about that right there, and put that in my hair, and I'm just gonna take that portion and put it in, get it in half, and then do the double strand twist. And as you can see, my hair is not thick, it is not voluminous, it is actually quite thin. So still trying to figure out how to get more volume with it, volume to it. I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve that I consult with my other naturalistas who are in their 40s, and they've been doing this way longer than I have been doing, and they've seen it all. So whatever tips and tricks I get, I'm going to bring it back here and share with you for my naturalistas who are brand new in their 40s and they're trying to figure out how to get this all done. So like I said, you're going to see on my hair, you're going to see some white residue, and that's okay. It's going to dry, and it's going to do what it's got to do. It's not going to flake. It's going to be just fine. Believe me, you'll see the outcome. I've been a naturalista, like I said, for 3 years, and I'm learning as I go, and thanks to all the video bloggers and vloggers and naturalistas on Instagram that has taught me tips and tricks. I really hope that this will inspire others maybe to share with other people who are naturalistas in their 40s, and I will be right back. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you how far I've gotten. This didn't take too long, and once again, you're probably saying, oh, what's all that white residue? Again, it will dry. So I'm on the last part here, on my hair, and just adding some Eco Styler, a little bit there. It's a little dry. Spray with my water and peppermint oil, and separating it in 2 parts. I know that some of you may be like, what is that music in the background? When I'm twisting my hair, I like to rock out, mellow out, depending on what's ever playing on. Tonight I'm listening to Pandora. I listen to a mixture of music. Right now it's on the Jill Scott radio on Pandora. I also listen to Spotify. I also have my own little collection. So you will always hear music in the background. If you guys don't like it, let me know. I'll probably turn it down a little bit, but it helps me get the process going. You may be thinking, oh, some of you newly naturalistas may be thinking, oh, wow, how long does this all take for her to do? And guess what? When I have the music going, it takes me about 30 minutes, you know, after I've washed or co-washed my hair, saturated my hair, and got the moisturizer going and figured out exactly what I'm going to do with it. It usually takes about 30 minutes, depending on how big I want the twist to be. So I'm done, right? And like I said, my hair is thin, but it's okay. It'll look fabulous. So you can either leave it like this if you want. I like to have it pulled back, right? So, because when I put my cap on or whatever it is I decide to tie my head down with, it's usually a head tie that I use. I like to have the hair pulled back because depending on how I'm going to style it in the morning, it'll actually end up going in the direction on where it lays. So if it's like this, the hair will be on that side. If I have it like this, the hair will be, you know, once I unravel, it'll be on that side. So, so this is all done, you know, around the sides is already starting to dry. Sometimes I like to hit it with the blow dryer. Put it on high heat and then just hit it, zoom, 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 hit it around. Just so when I wake up in the morning, there's definitely no damp spots. And sometimes what I do is, if I feel a little dampness in the center, depending on how thick I've twisted my hair, then I'll hit it with the blow dryer just one more time and then start to unravel. Okay, so you must be wondering, all right, so how do I go to sleep with this thing? If you have a silk pillowcase, that's perfect. You don't really need anything else. But if you don't have a silk pillowcase, I recommend getting, you know, a silk scarf, you know, that you like what your mom used to wear or my mom used to wear. Put it in a triangle, put it over, tie it up. So sometimes I wear this. Say if you want to go out, you want to hit the night, but you want to have your twist together before you go out, you know, having one of these scarves, ties, really good because it's also still fashionable. If you have a couple of different color ones, I have a black one and a red one, and what I do is, you know, make sure the hair is pulled back, do this number. Some of you should know how to do this. I make sure all that's tucked in. Tie it round and round. This, up, yeah, and I tuck. That's it. And then there you go. I'll usually wear a hat or something, a stylish hat, and my hoop earrings, or my glasses or my contacts. So I'm gonna go to bed and I'm going to wake up and unravel, and I will keep you updated. So it's the morning and I'm all ready for work. I'm just gonna unravel my headscarf, and you can see it's nice and dry all over, right? And so just want to make sure that all pieces are dry, and they are, and I like to get in the dips of everything right in there, and yes, it is dry. So before I unravel, what I like to do is take my Shea Butter, and remember, a little goes a long way, well, for me at least, because my hair is so thin. So this is how much I'm using, and I like to spread it in my hands and then just go over it like so. And then I'll have a little bit reserved on my fingertips, just a very, very little bit. And then I start to unravel each one piece by piece. So I'm gonna get a little closer so you see it's unraveled right there, right? And then we do that. And then I like to separate it. This is something that I learned from the other naturalistas. I like to call them the millennial naturalistas because they're the ones who taught me everything I know. If you guys have any favorite naturalistas out there that does the same tips and tricks for you guys, let me know. I'm always open to learning something new, and yeah, I think it'll definitely benefit. So as you know, I'm not going to make it a habit of unraveling or doing the whole hair in front of the camera, just because we have all got things to do, and you know, you get the process. You can you do your shea butter just a little bit, or whatever type of moisturizer you prefer to use, and start to unravel. And what that does, as long as you have some sort of moisturizer on the tips of your finger while you're unraveling, I find that my hair comes out less frizzy, and you can unravel and leave it just as the two. I like to, like I said, I like to unravel a little bit more and separate them. And what I do is I pull and I take my finger and I go straight down, and then I leave that one alone, and then I move on to the next one. So I will be right back. To show you the outcome. I am all unraveled. You can see I've separated everything. The top part I don't fiddle with too much. I separate it twice for each strand, and then so I can get this cute curly look. I didn't lift anything out yet because I wanted to show you, again, remember earlier I said that in your 40s that depending on your bloodline and what goes on in your family, your hair will start to thin in your 40s, or maybe a little bit earlier. But definitely the older you get, the more your hair does funky things. And so with me, I have thinning going on in the middle. So I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. So remember last night I showed you that I did the cane rows down, right? And it was to try to get more definition. But as you can see, it's still a little flat in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pick. I actually need to find a pick with the fist and the wires. I've been told by one of my naturalistas who I work with that the wire picks are a lot better to get that lift that you need without messing up your curl pattern after you've done a twist out. So what I'm going to do is just pick it. Actually, let me just show you from the front. So all I'm going to do is this and move it around and pull just a little bit. I don't want to go all the way through because then all that hard work that I've just done is gone, right? So I'm just going to pick it all the way around, do that same technique all the way around, and it's going to fill out some. It's going to fill out and get bigger than what you saw just now. And yeah, so I'm doing pretty good as far as time's concerned, because I like to unravel, put my moisturizer in, and then head out the door and catch my train to go to work. So what do I do for a living? Some of you may ask. I do work in corporate America, and so I think I'll have like a little fireside chat or something about being a naturalista in corporate America. I know you're saying, well, you're not dressed corporate. Well, today's Friday, and I'm a financial journalist. I'm a managing editor of a financial publication, and I wear what I like to wear. I don't go in looking crazy or anything, but I like my own personal style, so nobody really fusses at me because I'm not wearing a suit and tie. And it's just not that type of environment. Although it is down on Wall Street, so when I know that some people are coming to the office where I have to interview CEOs or sit down for videos for my day job, I make sure that I dress to impress. But anyway, today is actually Thursday, and it's the day before a major holiday. And so we have the next day off, so it's casual day for me, at least. So anyway, pick, doing my thing. So hope you can see. I could feel that I don't I don't feel the emptiness as much as what you first saw, which is good, and I like. And I just like to do this. And remember, I told you that I put it back, the double strand twist back, and then tied it under because I want it to fall a certain way. So as you can see, it's falling exactly, well, it's how I want it. It's probably not the way that you want it. And this right here, thinking about either going to my natural hairstylist and bleaching that out and just making it gray, because I'm tired of dyeing my hair, or I just may go ahead and dye it. One thing that I saw some of the naturalistas do, the millennial naturalistas who I follow, they take a toothbrush and they put it in their gel, right? And then they put it on their edges. I thought it was really cute. I'm not obsessed with my edges. It's like, it is what it is. But I'm just gonna apply it with my finger, a dab here, just to see how that works out. And then I'm gonna take my brush, and then it's not wet. My hair, I don't need to wet it, but if I did, I would do it. But you see, I don't have to do it, and the edges come out pretty nice. So, that's pretty cool, right? I used to do this when I was younger, like in my teens, but I forgot all those tips and tricks when I was a kid, right? But now that I am 40 and natural, now I could bring those skills and tips back. It's all coming back to me as I watch the new naturalistas, well, not the new naturalistas, it's all coming back to me as I watch the millennial naturalistas who's giving great advice out there. And yeah, so this is my ultimate look here, and I think it looks pretty good. And after that, I don't want to mess with it anymore because I don't want the fro to come back. And this will last about maybe 3 days. I could push it to 4 if I make sure that I put on a bonnet, or I tie it down, or I sleep on a silk pillowcase. I'm very lackadaisical about that. I was like, my curls are gone. That's fine. Let me just do a co-wash and then just rock it natural as a fro. A short curly fro, and I don't mind that. I'm confident with my natural hair. It took a couple of years, maybe 2 years. It was like, oh, what am I gonna do? What are people gonna say? But I'm happy. I hope you're happy, and I hope you tune in for a future episode. I have a list of things that I would like to talk about, but if there's anything that you would like to know about what it's like being natural and 40, and if you have need advice on anything, I'll try my best to answer all your questions when you email me at tcsviews@gmail.com, or leave a comment in the comment box below. You could also follow me on Instagram. You'll see a lot of my thoughts and goals and aspirations and affirmations and quotes of the day, as well as my natural hairstyles and some of the things that I will also share with you from other naturalistas out there on social media. So Instagram, TC's Views, Twitter, TC's Views, Gmail, tcsviews@gmail.com. So thanks, and I'm TC's Views, and I'm the 40-year-old naturalista.